Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome. E-Explainer Nali, we're going to do a one-shot revision of all the key English pedagogy concepts for your CTET exam. We'll cover the essentials you absolutely need to know to ace that pedagogy section. So, let's get right into it.
Okay, let's start with a really fundamental question. Language acquisition versus language learning. What's the actual difference? I vichasavanu arthamalikollodu prati teacherge tumba mukia. Seriously, understanding this distinction is crucial for any teacher, and trust me, it's a favorite topic for exam questions.
So this slide breaks it down perfectly. On one side, you have acquisition. Think of this as a subconscious, natural process. Idu ಒಂದು ಸುಪ್ತ ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆ, ನೈಸರ್ಗಿಕವಾಗಿ ಆಗೋದು. It's just like how a child effortlessly picks up their first language at home. But on the other side, you have learning. This is a conscious, very formal process. Adre, learning ಒಂದು ಜಾಗೃತ ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆ, like when you're sitting in a classroom and deliberately studying grammar rules.
All right, time for a CTET quick check. What is the most important factor that separates learning from acquisition? Is it A, the grammar, B, the language environment, or C, the textbook? Nimge ಏನು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ? Take a second to think about it. The correct answer is B, language environment. Absolutely. That setting, whether it's natural or formal, is the single biggest difference maker.
Let's try another one. Language acquisition happens because of what? Memorizing words? A systematic approach? Or something we're just born with? The answer here is C, the innate capacity of the human brain. And this is a beautiful way to show the idea that we are literally born with a special ability for language. E prashne namage manava meduli nali bashakalyuvikie sahaja samaratide bage helutede. And that brings us to the great thinkers who explored this very idea.
So, who are these brilliant minds who shaped how we understand language? Let's dive into some of the most important theories.
For the CTET exam, you absolutely have to know these four names. Inagu Makwachin Takarabuge Kalitivi. We've got Noam Chomsky, B.F. Skinner, Jean Piaget, and Lev Vygotsky. Each of them had a really unique and powerful perspective on how we all learn to speak.
First up, the legend, Noam Chomsky. He came up with this revolutionary idea of a language acquisition device, or LAD. He argued that this device is basically hardwired into our brains from birth, and it's what allows us to just naturally pick up language. For a teacher, this means creating a rich, immersive language environment is way more important than just drilling grammar rules.
But then you have D.F. Skinner, who had a completely different view. As a behaviorist, he argued that it's not innate at all. He said children learn language by imitating adults and getting positive reinforcement. Andre makalu doddavaranu nodi anukarane maruttare mattu avarinda protsaha sikkaga kalitare. His theory suggests that providing good role models and positive feedback is absolutely essential in the classroom.
Then we have the cognitive psychologists. Jean Piaget, for instance, believed that thought comes first. Andre alotane modalu bhasha nantara. For example, a child first understands the concept of a dog in their mind before they can say the word dog. Lev Vygotsky, on the other hand, had a slightly different idea. He suggested thought and language start out as two separate streams that eventually merge together.
Okay, let's lock this in with a quick question. That language acquisition device, the LAD, who proposed it? It was, of course, A. Chomsky. This is one of those facts you just have to remember for your exam. E concept Chomsky jasambandisedu idnuneva pitkoli.
All right, so we've covered the big theories. Now let's get practical and talk about some essential skills that are tested all the time in the comprehension section.
This slide shows two reading skills you use every day, skimming versus scanning. Skimming is when you read really fast just to get the main idea, the gist of something. Udaranage, newspaper headlines odadu, just glancing at them. Scanning is different. That's when you're looking for a very specific detail, like finding your name in a long list. Andre, ondu listnali nimojesiru hudukodu. Both are super useful techniques for different tasks.
Now that we've looked at how to read, let's go a little deeper into what we're reading, the fundamental building blocks of the English language itself.
Take a look at this number on your screen, 44. What do you think this could possibly represent in the English language? Any ideas?
And here's the answer. While we only have 26 letters in the English alphabet, they combine to create 44 distinct sounds, also known as phonemes. 26 ಅಕ್ಷರಗಳಿದ್ದರೂ ಅವುಗಳಿಂದ 44 ಧ್ವನಿಗಳು ಬರುತ್ತವೆ. And this breaks down into 20 vowel sounds and 24 consonant sounds. It's a really interesting and crucial fact, especially for teaching phonetics.
Okay, let's do a quick vocabulary check. A homograph is a word that has the same spelling but a different meaning. So,
looking at the options on your screen, which one is a homograph? Is it A, lead/lead, B, male/male, or C, warm/tepid? The answer is A, lead the metal and lead as in to guide. Same spelling, totally different meanings. Idara spelling onde, avere arta bere.
So we've got theories, skills, and the mechanics of language. But how do we actually bring all of this together in a real classroom? Let's look at a couple of teaching approaches.
This table shows two key approaches. First, the top-down approach. This starts with the big picture. Andre, sampurna arthadinda shuru maradu. For example, using a story's title and pictures to predict what it's about. Then you have the bottom-up approach, which is the exact opposite. It starts with the smallest pieces, like letters and sounds, and builds up to the overall meaning.
Now here's a really important modern concept, language across the curriculum, or LAC. The big idea here is that language learning isn't just for English class. It happens everywhere, in history, in science, in math. So, per teacher kuda onderriti language teacher. Every single teacher is a language teacher.
Let's see this in action. A history teacher asks students to find a theme in their history textbook and then write an English essay about it. What would you call this practice? Is it A, history and English, B, language across the curriculum, or C, essay writing practice? This is a perfect textbook example of B, language across the curriculum.
All right, let's put it all together and test everything we've just learned. Welcome to the CTET Practice Zone Final Round.
First question, and we're going right back to the beginning. First language acquisition is it a training process, a school-based process, a natural process, or a conscious effort? The answer is definitely C, natural process. Yes, ನಾವು ಮೊದಲೇ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಇದು ಒಂದು ನೈಸರ್ಗಿಕ ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆ. It just happens without any formal instruction.
Next up, a teacher reads 5 sentences out loud and asks students to write them down. Which listening strategy does this promote? A, top-down, B, dictation as a strategy, or C, bottom-up? Well, the students are listening for individual sounds and words to form sentences, right? They're building from the details to the bigger picture. So the answer is C, bottom-up strategy.
And for our final slide, I want to leave you with this question. To truly master language education, what other concepts must the teacher know? This explainer was a quick revision.